Hello, fellow travelers. This is Veronica from Human Design Journey with the series about profile, or this is the costume, how we're perceived by others in this life, and the way our purpose unfolds as a byproduct of living our most authentic self via strategy and authority. So today we're going to talk about the 3-6 profile. It's adaptation and transition, the Martyr role model. It's a harmonic profile. The second one, the first one is the 1-4. So it's more rare and it's very interesting because for the first time we see the sixth line unconscious, which is the role model. So we have an anarchist who's underneath actually an administrator. The sixth line, the role model is basically in the I Ching. It the sixth, the most exalted in the tradition of the ancient I Ching, the most exalted line is the fifth line. It is the end of the process of the hexagram. But in the nature of profiles, here we have for the first time the role model, and I'm going to read you what Ra says about this. In profile 3-6, in this profile, we meet the sixth line theme of transitions for the first time. The 3-6 expresses the possibility that trial and error can lead to wisdom. In the nature of profiles, the first line, the foundation, the basic nature of a hexagram is keynoted as wonder. The second line has to be called. The third is attuned and ready to adapt. The fourth brings influence through the ability to externalize their single pointedness. The fifth is calling, universalizing the nature of the hexagram. The sixth line, the roof of the house, is keynoted as separate. It is the separateness that distinguishes the nature of this line. Because in the basic hexagram structure, the process of the hexagram is actually complete with the fifth line. In the tradition of the ancient I Ching, the fifth line is the most exalted of lines. So the sixth line is actually, it is the separateness that distinguishes the nature of this line. It is above the fray with a unique perspective on the action below. It is the fool on the hill, the aloofness. The inherent in this line is the very quality necessary at the heart of this process. It is the sixth line that gives the stamp of approval or not, whose testimony is most respected. The sixth line sits on the fence, not committing itself, waiting and watching from its perch. So this explains very well how the sixth line is the only one able to have this unique view, to have this leadership in a way role, very different from the projector, but in a way very similar, waiting to be recognized and seen, and in return show what you see, your objective view. So if in your profile you carry the sixth line, no matter whether it is in the unconscious or whether it is in the personality, in the conscious, you go through 3 distinct stages of life. And of course, all of us go through those stages of life. It's part of the different cycles we go through, the Saturnian cycle, the Uranus opposition, when we change views from the south to the north node of the moon. but changing our perspective and more or less, and yeah, going basically downhill from there to reach our 50th, or around that age between the 48 and the 51 too, which is our Chiron return, and it is the time to actually blossom completely as yourself. This is the potential for all of us, and the potential which human design lets us see it's possible. But it is the sixth line who is truly there to be the role model and show how it is to be yourself, and not for the sake of being seen. Actually, this is a side effect. It is for the sake of being authentic, because this is the way to reach Satori. This is the way to be most valuable for yourself and for others as a part of the totality which we are, because we live in the illusion of separateness, but we are part of the same totality. And it is the sixth line which actually shows us this in a way that it is beyond universalizing things anymore. It's not about perfection anymore. Um, or radical heritism. It's about the real idealistic perfection. It's beyond perfection. So they're the real idealists, and they want everything to be ideal in this life. So the first stage, the initial period from birth to approximately 30 years of age, it's the process of very deep involvement of the sixth line. It's really the sixth line abdicating to the third line power. So we have actually in this profile, 3-6 profile, we will be living the first 30 years. This will be a 3-3 profile. So it will be trial and error, martyr, martyr, anarchist, anarchist, pessimism, pessimism, bonds made and broken. It's the first 30 years through trial and error, through mistakes, through those bonds made and broken, with results of disturbed by mistakes and disturbed by the incompleteness, the unfulfillment that comes from that stage of life, full with pessimism. The 3-6 profile really relaxes and can come back to its senses in a way, so to say, in the second stage of its life, which is actually the stage of objectivity. And whether it's the personality or the unconscious theme, when they reach the second stage of their life, approximately around the age of 30, when they begin to withdraw from the world, they don't necessarily need to stick their hands into the soil anymore. And then they become more aloof. That separateness really kicks in, and that's where the objectivity comes from, because once you're super involved, you can only be subjective, because you see things through only your own perspective. But once you get on the roof, your perspective enlarges and becomes like an eagle's eye. That's why the eagle can see there from amazing distances. And the 3-6, it's really the fool on the hill, or the wise man on the hill. Come and ask me. I will not come down for you, but you can come and ask me what I see, because everybody sees the sixth line up there on the hill watching them. They know they're being watched. So they know maybe there is something valuable that from the side, from not being involved, from that separateness, you can be objective. And it also has something to do with the reflector, if you think about it, because the reflector, their aura, Teflon aura, and is actually giving them that quality of separateness, disengagement, which gives them a little bit an eagle's eye view and not being involved. Then you can be cool about it and be not necessarily withdrawn, but it's the only way to be objective if you really think about it. It's when you're hot about something, you cannot be objective. That's why the emotional people have to wait their way to get to a place where they're neither hot nor freezing about it, so that they're cool, that they're reasonable, not reasonable, but they're without the delusion of the emotionality, the emotional lava, so to say. So in the second stage, approximately till the age of 50 years old, this aloofness, steadfastly aloof, refusing to truly commit themselves, always being the observer, always watching the other, is what happens to them. And the first part of their life, it's somehow like they taste also. They test and they taste the life. And maybe they don't even necessarily like it. And they heal during the second stage of their life. That's why I said they go, and actually it's preparing them. This second healing part is preparing them for the third stage of their life. So this is the second part of the life when they're objective, when people are willing to get their opinion, is the nice time to actually be paid for your opinion and for your objectivity and get your bank account fat, so that you can truly be yourself and a role model of what it is to be yourself in the third stage of your life, when it is the final opportunity after 50 for the sixth line to shine as itself. And if you think, all of us naturally after 50, we don't care anymore what people think. So the first stage of life until the Saturnian cycle, we are like children. And then till 40, we are young adults. And only around 40, we break the bond with our parents. And this little voice of our parents we start to become more independent from that. And, or the people who raised us, the moral values we got from them, all this conditioning. Then somehow the second stage of your life, it's like a return to yourself. And around 50, you're really ready to blossom as yourself, to really pick up the fruit of your wisdom, and eventually, and it's a real potential to have the most abundant autumn in the autumn of our lives. 50 is around the autumn of our lives before we get into the winter. So this third stage, the final opportunity to be able to re-engage, to return to the world and enter into the fray, regardless of your design and regardless of your type, to carry a sixth line theme, is to live through these three very distinct cycles of life. And the present of sixth line brings with it a powerful limitation. The inherent aloofness is regularly perceived by others as determined disinterest. The 3-5 profile, with its third line theme of martyr and anarchist, has a fifth line heretic unconscious underneath. So the yearning to universalize the lower trigram there, theme of adaptation, is there. And the third line, martyr personalities optimized through the foundation. While in the 3-6, however, we have beneath the martyr, that is beneath the martyr, we have the role model, which is not really ready to be a martyr until it has examined all the possible causes that could be supported. So it is not committing itself, but ready to pass judgment on what cannot stand up to its scrutiny. So it's a very different process here. This is an anarchist that is really an administrator beneath. And the theme of the third line process is experienced through 6-line lenses, could be best expressed, and again, those are Ra's words, by Groucho Marx, who said, I would never belong to an organization that would have me as a member. This is a classic 6th line, and they can recommend a school, a job, a cause that they would never get involved with themselves. They can administer, but they are personally an anarchist. So they are fond of cliches, and their bark is worse than their bite. The perspective of the third line pessimism through the personality and the 6th line optimism that filters their memory often leads to harsh words, but a soft heart. What they aspire, it is to sustain a direction of objectivity, to be the guardians, to confirm the integrity of things, like being the roof of the hexagram, and the last line, they aspire to be the last word. We have seen that the third line brings social difficulty. The themes of bonding and security strategies are based on bonds made and broken through trial and error process. And when this is coupled with the 6th line, it makes the sustainment of bonds deeply conditional. Sexually, it is the demand for perfection that is generally unlikely in life. The 6th line can get chilly in its disinterest when perfection is marred. Its security is really about trust and trusting the other. Break the trust once with the 6th line, and they will likely break their bond with you. This lack of trust is enforced by the personality's basic pessimism. The theme of the unconscious 6th line is to lead or not. In their blood is the sense of nobility, of being beyond the mundane, but it is not a theme of direct hands-on leadership. This is the guiding role, the baptizer's role of confirmation. The 6th line is sought out for his blessings. You climb up the hill for them. And the third line, the 6th line, it has this, they can have a little bit this, either they can be empathic to you, or maybe because you touch base with something that happened to them in the first 30 years of life when they were in their trial and error process, or they can be disinterested and totally it's not the opposite of empathic, but it's more like yeah, it's disinterested and just they are not they don't feel yeah in a way, like apathy in a way. So out of the most important things maybe about the 6th line is that it doesn't matter, like they carry this burden of being the role model and wanting everything about their life and themselves to be perfect, and this causes stress. They're easily disappointed and withdraw when they see that things simply don't work, and when things are not the way they're supposed to. So by jumping into things when they're young, by being aloof in their midlife and finally re-engaging after 50, those people, the 3-6 profile, are able to step back into the world and see what really works. So they can be a discovery. So if we look here, we have the behavioral identity of the martyr, which means they will try things and they're very resilient. Thanks to them, we can discover things. They will find the things that will break it. And they are very good in chaotic situations, in chaotic professions, where they can test things and show you what doesn't work, because they've seen and they've tried so much. So they found the things that don't work. But by the things, when you find a lot of things that don't work, like Edison with the light bulb, at the end, after the 100th or 1000th trial, you finally reach to something which is rock solid, and it works. Those discoveries are probably not so many, but once they reach them, they can be really impressive. We have the anarchist, who's administrator underneath, with pessimism and optimism, aspire to role. This is their creativity, and their direction. Leadership is sustainment, and objectivity is the direction. That's what they're sought for. They're looking sexually for their soulmate or not, and you either have their trust or not. It's very important. That's why in the 59 gate 6th line, it's called one night stand. They're always ready to have the one night stand, but they will only have it with somebody who is perfect. So it's like the last one night stand, because when you meet perfection, it is forever, right? So it's the first and the last one night stand for the 6th line. 3-6, such an interesting profile. 3-3, first stage of life, very pessimistic. Those people can really be broken and disbelief and pessimistic about life. And they can disengage, withdraw, separate, which will heal them eventually, because they will still keep on bumping into people. They have the 3rd line personality, so they will keep on bumping into others. They know the other is there, and subconsciously they attract, in a way, with their objectivity, especially in the second part of their life. So they cannot hide. They're sought after, and with that trial and error process, with this 3rd line personality and unconscious for the first 30 years, it can be a lot of mistakes and a lot of testing that had happened, which can bring to a big wisdom and transition, being beyond and being objective and a real role model of what it is to be yourself, to be your authentic you. We need our 6s to watch them and see that it's possible that we are also ourselves. That's their role. If you would like to know more about the profiles, you can visit my YouTube channel. Actually, you're already here if you're watching this video. So like and subscribe. I'm Veronica from Human Design Journey, so please feel invited. Would you like to visit my Facebook, Instagram page with the same name, Human Design Journey, and humandesignjourney.com, my website. And I will eventually be back with more. Bye for now.